I think you're on mute. I can't hear
Oh,
you, Ruth.
welcome. I think I was on mute. So welcome for our session today. Our session today is on data science. I know some of you have really been aspiring to learn more about data science and maybe also build a project on data science. So today we are privileged to have one of our facilitator, Mr. Anthony. He's a data scientist expert, and this is something that he does every day. So we were very happy when we requested him to share his time with us so that he can come and share his skills and knowledge with you. He was able to voluntarily decide to come and share with you. So count yourself very privileged because all the sessions that you've been doing, you have experts working in those fields. So without much wasting time, the others will join later. They'll be able to follow up through the recording or they'll be able to follow up through the live session. So Mr. Anthony, are you ready? You can share with me the screens, then I can present.
Yeah, sure. I'm very ready. I've shared with you the link to the presentation. I don't know if you can see it. Let me know if you can find the link to the presentation. I'm sharing the same via email address.
And we are very happy. Actually, next week, our team will be in Nairobi. You'll have Pwani Technogals team to come in and support you with your projects and also see the best way you can work on your project. So I know some of you are in Lamu or Nakuru. The trainers came last week. So this coming next week will be Nakuru, and I'll share the link. Actually, we've been preparing it. After our sessions, I'll be able to share it so that you're able to sign in because the first day the space is limited. We are only going to accommodate 15 people. So the first 15 people to sign up will come on the first day, but on the next days we are going to have like more, like we can accommodate up to 30. So when you see the call for application on the, actually it's not even a call for application because you're not applying, just filling in if you'll be able to attend the physical session at the American space. And so as we wait for our facilitator, if any one of us has any question, you can ask me about your project, about the project itself. And people in Nairobi, I really look forward to seeing you. And yeah, so it was really great for our facilitators to interact with some of the coders in Nakuru and Lamu. So we really hope that you'll create time to come and meet. Oh, awesome. I can see Alice, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I have a question.
Please go
You've mentioned
ahead.
about the.
You can unmute yourself.
So my question is,
Mm-hmm.
you've talked about the project. Have you already started the project, or
Which project? The coders at American Spaces.
you've said, yeah, you will be coming to help us with our projects and everything. So I'm like, were we
Oh,
supposed to have already begun on the
no, no,
project,
no, no,
or?
no, 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 no. I actually, that's a very good question because we were having different sessions and we realized that in Nairobi region and Mombasa, these are regions that we've been having like a good attendance and people have been going through most of the sessions. So it's one session that we are going to organize. It's going to be a 3-day session. In one of the days, you'll have time with the facilitators. If you already have an idea that you are thinking to implement, they will help you narrow it down and they can also advise you. So by now you should have not started working on the projects.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Then where are your offices?
In Mombasa?
In Nairobi.
Oh, actually, we don't have an office in Nairobi.
Yeah.
We have an office in Mombasa, but in Nairobi we'll be at American Space in Moi University.
Okay. And Mombasa?
Mombasa, yeah, it's so in Mombasa we are located opposite a art center along Moi Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
All
So,
right,
Ruth,
welcome. Yes, Anto.
are you able to open the
Yes,
presentation I've shared on the link on the chat box?
sure. Let me open it. And then you can let me know if you're able to see my screen. So I'll make it on present mode. Is that okay? Can I make it on present mode?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Sawa sawa. Yes. Okay, okay, so that's it. So I would like to take this time to welcome you, Anthony, and we really appreciate you taking your time to be able to share with us and also share with the aspiring coders who are really passionate about data science. Some of them maybe they just hear data science, they're not sure what it is, they've never interacted with it, but I believe we are going to support with the session. So without much wasting time, I would like to welcome you. Karibu.
Sasa, thank you very much. I would like to start by introducing myself.
It's you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear. I think someone was on. Let me try and mute some people. Please, if you join, please mute yourself.
So I'll begin by telling you what I am and what I do. So my name is Anthony Umtobe. I work for an organization called Dot Kenya. We do entrepreneurship training and basic empowerment using ICT for youth and women. My role as a Dot staff is in the field of monitoring and evaluation. So I'm basically in charge of measuring performance for the organization's impact uh, and reporting on the same. And I'm also responsible for warehousing the data, analyzing, and doing reports that inform decision making for Dot Kenya. So I received this invitation to train you guys, or rather introduce you to the concept of data science, and give you all the possibilities that you can achieve with data science. And for those who want to delve deeper into the field of data science, then we can work together maybe after these sessions. We won't have enough time for this 1 hour to do even basic analysis. So I'll basically introduce you to concepts, definitions, and what data science entails. Is that clear enough?
Yes, yes, it is. And we are really excited and looking forward.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know if the rest of you can see the screen, the presentations. From my end, Ruth, I can only see your video.
Really? Let me go. Oh, wow. Let me try and share it again. Oh, I'm really sorry. Now we should be good to go. Yes. How about now? Can you see it?
Just a minute.
Yeah, it has come.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay. So some of the housekeeping rules is that you'll stay on mute unless you want to ask a question or you want to jump in and contribute. Otherwise, you'll have to stay on mute if you're not doing that. You can put your questions on the chat box. I think, Ruth, you'll be responsible for collecting all the questions and I'll be able to respond in real time. So we can start. So basically this workshop is an introductory course to data science. Yeah, so I'm sure many of you have heard of data science before, right? So I would like one of you to, I don't know if one of you can volunteer to tell us what he or she is aware of regarding data science.
Can they also drop it on the chat?
Yeah, okay, no problem. So what is data science?
there is I think someone responded on a chat. So Jamila Moseka says that involves processing and managing big data.
Uh-huh. Sorry a bit, I seem to be having a challenge with my computer. Just give me a second. I'm not able to see the Zoom screen, so I'm trying to look for it.
Oh, you can still see my screen?
I can seem to see the Zoom screen.
Okay, how about your presentation? Are you able to see the presentation?
Sure. I can see everything now. So.
Oh, fantastic.
So Jamila says it involves processing and managing big data. That's correct. Shamin says it's a field that uses scientific methods, processes, and systems to extract data. That's cool. Esther says the process of working with raw data to draw insight that helps to inform decisions. Okay, those are correct responses. At least someone has mentioned something to do with data analysis. Someone has mentioned data. Someone has said something to do with processing, and someone has said something to do with using data to make informed decisions. So basically for this course, we'll define data science, and then we'll try and see the relationship between data science itself and other disciplines. And then we'll explore the pillars of data science. And then we'll see what you can do with data science, where can you apply data science. And then we'll also explore what data science skills and qualifications and abilities are required for you to be able to, please go back, to do data science. And then I'll walk you through the data science tools and the libraries that are useful in data science. And then, of course, time will not allow us to do this, but we'd like to do some basic data analysis. And in this case, we are using Excel. Go to the next slide. So Shamin, you are very right. You are spot on. Actually, data science, it's a field that uses scientific methods, processes, codes, and systems to extract information from data. So you are basically torturing data to give you information. So if you have the relevant tools and techniques to extract information from data that is of no use in its context, then you are a data scientist. And data science is related to big data, machine learning, and data mining. Next slide. Like I said, it's related to data mining, machine learning, and big data. Data mining in itself is where you find and observe patterns in big data sets. For you to be able to do this, you need to, you will be utilizing skills and knowledges from statistics and mathematics with the main aim of extracting useful information from the data. But then the data sets in this case are usually very huge. Machine learning is part of artificial intelligence. Here you are using mathematical algorithms to make predictions, speculations, or decisions from data without specifically telling the program to do so. For example, we have a system within Google that allows your Google emails to be filtered either as being social emails, as being primary emails, or whether to spam some emails, or where to categorize some emails as either being in inbox, outbox, or whatever the case may be. So they use a machine language platform for that. So, and lastly, we have big data. This is purely ways of extracting information, useful information from big data sets that are too complex to be analyzed by traditional softwares, which we are all aware of. And we are aware of some analytical softwares like R and Python, which we use for that. But then big data may not be achieved. You might not achieve data. You might not extract information from data, huge data sets, if you're using R or Python. So you employ other techniques and softwares. Next slide. So data science has its own pillars, and the pillars for data science include the four main ones here: business, domain, mathematics, computer science, and communication, both written and verbal. These are basically why are you using, why would you want to become a data scientist? What skills do you require, be it in the field of mathematics, computer science, and how effective will you be to communicate your statistical inferences or your analysis? How would you be able to report your findings to people who cannot consume data in its raw format? Next slide. So how best can you apply and use data science? You can, the first thing people use for when they're doing data science is for prediction. In prediction, you come up with models and algorithms that will enable you, after studying data sets and after studying behaviors of people, you can be able to predict what will happen next. The other thing is classification. I've told you that Google uses an AI system that enables them to spam or not spam some emails. The other thing for data science usage is doing recommendations, and that is mostly on Jumia and Netflix as examples. Normally, when you browse something or you look for a product online, using you browse something, maybe you're looking for shea butter, or say a piece of pen, or you're looking for a phone online, or you have simply Googled something to do with address. The next time if you do that for a day, something will learn from your behaviors. The next thing you do when you open your Facebook, you'll start seeing targeted advertisement that relate to address, a pen, or whatever product you are looking for. So you'll be targeted with those advertisements based on your history. And that is possible with machine learning and AI that is part of data science or related to data science. For image recognition, normally we have so many images in different shapes, colors, sizes, quality and whatnot. You can only, because there are too many, you can only use data science and machine learning to tell if this image is a face, this image is a person, or it's a cow, or this is a car. The same applies to when you are designing vehicles that can that have lane assist. So vehicles that can be fed with an AI system that will notice zebra crossings, road signs, or even yellow marks, or even yellow lines in the middle of the road to stay within the lanes. Actionable insights is one other use of data science. Here, when you're, mostly in my field of M&E, monitoring and evaluation, I do report to donors and also report to program implementers within DOT. And here, I have to give them real-time updates on what's going on. So I have to create dashboards that will summarize numbers of people trained, the impact of the program, do reports and colorful visualization for even presentations. The other thing is segmentation. Based on your age and when you're signing up for a profile online, you will give information about your age, where you come from, your location, the locations you've been through, and An AI system will use this information to segment you and target you with a specific advertisement or things that relate to your demographic characteristics. I'd like to pause here, and if there's a question, maybe I'll pick it up from the chat box.
Okay, Anthony. There's actually, when you are presenting, just something came into my mind, and I felt maybe I could as well ask. There is this concept that where you find that there's misuse of data, where you find like people are able to mine data and use it for data science. Is there like some laws that govern what data needs to be collected about? Yeah.
So governments will collect data, huge amounts of data from people. But then depending on the legal frameworks around the data collection, they'll choose to use that data depending on how it fits their government needs. But then whenever you go online or you try to browse around, you will always have a caveat that tells you to agree to certain terms of conditions, certain terms and conditions that regard that are related to whatever data you want to provide. So there are guidelines on how to utilize people's data that you can easily collect online, but then there are ethical and legal issues surrounding those ones. I'm not aware of any, but recently the government signed a bill that will prevent people from using people's information in a bad way and also prevent cyberbullying. But then you can become an ethical data scientist by not using people's data in a manner that is not good.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? So the definition of data science that I've given you, it's just meant to help you define the data scientist's role and his purpose, as well as the typical skills, qualification, education, and experience that is required of any data scientist. This definition is somewhat loose since it doesn't really have we don't have a standardized definition of data science. And given that the ideal experience and skill set is really rare to find in one individual, you will find that people define data science in whichever way they want to. But then the definition can further be confused by the fact that there are some roles sometimes thought to be the same as data science, mostly data engineers, we have data analysts, so on and so on. But then those ones are not data scientists. You have to do something extra that's related to machine learning, AI, and analysis itself to become a data scientist. So just to recap what we've captured now, data science is related to visualization, advanced computing, statistics, mathematics, and the hacker mindset.
Anthony, sorry to distract. There's a question from Christopher. Christopher is asking, can someone be a general data scientist without being specialized in a particular domain?
It's very correct. You can become a data scientist without specific specialization. And later on, you'll be able to see in this workshop that universities offer a data scientist course, but it doesn't encompass everything. You'll probably have a skill in machine learning, but you don't have a similar skill set to do big data or data mining. Someone can be good at data analysis and is also good at big data, but they're not good with AI and machine learning.
Okay, I think there's also another question as well. There is where do scientists separate? Where do data scientists separate from a machine learning engineer?
So see, a machine learning engineer can choose to specialize in AI, artificial intelligence. They can choose to basically train data with algorithms to be able to predict things, make decisions without them being available to intervene manually. They can create codes to do their job. Whereas a data scientist who does analysis will always have to collect data and analyze it and do presentations to people for informed decision making. So if I got your question correct, scientists separate from machine learning engineer. Do you mean, so if you choose to draw a Venn diagram between a data scientist and a machine learning engineer, they will have a central meeting point. Both of them are able to do analysis. Both of them are able to use data, and both of them can handle huge data sets. You see another question from Esther.
Yeah, sure, you can go ahead.
Supposing you have no prior knowledge to programming or other computer science, statistics, can one pursue a data science course or advanced course? Yes, but then even today, there are so many online tutorials where someone can self-teach themselves on how to data script using Python or R programming language. But it will reach a point where you might not be able to make the correct statistical inference on the data. Might be provided with data, you are able to analyze it, but even before you get to the point of analyzing the data, you do not know what you want from the data. You probably do not know if you want to know the average of a certain parameter, the model, or even measures of central tendencies from a data set. But then if you have a knowledge and a background in statistics, you'll definitely know what you're looking for from data.
Oh,
Does
wow.
that answer your question, Esther?
Oh, she says yes.
Any last question before we move to the next? So, Ruth, you can go to the next slide.
Okay, let me cancel the chat and then I go to. Okay, sawa.
So besides the 21st century soft skills that everybody has seemed to have these days, you need to have knowledge of statistics statistics and mathematics, including probability modeling, to be able to understand data and to choose the correct approach and implement a data science solution. So one important thing to discuss are the off-shelf data science platforms and APIs that we have these days. One may be tempted to think that these can be used relatively easy and does not require significant expertise in certain fields. Therefore, you might think that we have free tutorials, APIs, and free platforms to learn data science. But then you do not have a strong background in statistics or mathematics or probability modeling, then that might not make you a well-rounded data scientist. So it is very true that these off-the-shelf products can be used relatively easy. And one can probably obtain pretty decent results depending on the problem they're trying to solve as far as data science is concerned. But there are very many aspects of data science where experience and your experience is needed to critically understand data science. For example, when you want to access and query a database, you need a knowledge of MySQL language. If you want to choose the most optimum data source, data features, those include variables and parameters. To analyze, you'll need to be able to know, you need to have a very good and strong knowledge of that. To ensure that your data is of good integrity, you need to have data cleaning skills. And you need to, and also at the end of the day, if you have good data, you'll be able to make accurate statistical inferences. You'll be able to eliminate biases when you're analyzing your data. And also, even your level of significance, statistical significance for the results will be so high. Now, also, you will require the knowledge of statistics or math if you want to select and implement the best tooling, algorithm, or framework, and even the use of a language to use when you want to analyze your data. So it is very important that if you want to venture into that data science, you have some background knowledge on what data science entails and how best you can approach the whole process. Next slide. So education-wise, there's no single path to becoming a data scientist. If you go to the University of Nairobi today, I did a course in, my undergraduate was in economics and statistics. But then after college, I learned that you can actually analyze the data without using a calculator, by using a programming language called R. And then later on, I gained some work experience. After 2 years, I went back for a master's in statistics. But you see, at the end of the day, I still wouldn't want to call myself a fully fledged data scientist. But I can be able to do big data, and I can be able to do data mining. But I'm not very good with artificial intelligence or machine learning. But still, I call myself a data scientist. So if you want to pursue a course in become a data scientist, you require the basic, statistics and mathematics background, and then you use some of the tools you can teach yourself online, and then keep practicing with analyzing data and mining the data. Then you'll become a data scientist. So if you look from very many universities, they don't even, I've never seen a university that calls a course in masters called data science. I've never seen any. But then we have online courses that offer some introductory level to data science. There's IBM, there's very many people offer online courses on data science. You can start from there. Next slide. So for you to be a good data scientist, you need to know the tools for data science. And these tools include the language for data science, a coding language, or a language that will enable you do the algorithms, the code, the script. So one of those languages is Python. We have another language that is becoming too popular again. It's called R. Then there's SQL, there's Java, there's Julia, and there's Scala. But then for now, you can restrict yourself to Python or R and a bit of Java. Myself, I chose R, but later on I realized people are specializing. Python has a lot of online support for a code. So I'm torn between using R and Python, depending on my needs and depending on what I want from a certain data set. I'll either choose Python or R. And then as much as you can have a programming language, either Python or R, you need to be able to know what integrated development environment do you need to use these languages. For example, if you use Python, you'll need an IDE called PyCharm. And then there are other IDEs for that, but personally I use PyCharm. And then R, the best IDE to use is R Studio. I've never used ISQL or the rest, so I've restricted myself to R and Python. And then we have libraries. Libraries are just a set of instructions that guide a certain script for whatever you want to use. We will talk more about libraries in the next slide. Then we have notebooks. Sorry, are we still there?
Yes, Anthony, we are together.
If you want to do reproducible research and reporting, data scientists commonly use notebooks and frameworks such as Jupyter and JupyterLab. And these are very powerful in that the code and data can be delivered along with the key results so that everyone can perform the same analysis and build on it as if desired. Go back to the previous slide. And then you need to know, one of the other tools is a data management system. And here we have MySQL, PostgreSQL, Redshift, MongoDB, Hadoop, and HBase. If you want to specialize in big data, you'll find Hadoop as the most desired tool for that, for big data. These are just data management and querying systems, the ones that I've just mentioned or touched on. Finally, if you're doing cloud computing and cloud-based services, you will have to find some APIs that are an important part of data scientists' toolbox, particularly in terms of data storage and access, machine learning and AI. The most common cloud service providers are the AWS from Amazon. We have Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Compute, which we call GCP. And then there are so many more. But you see, for cloud computing, it allows us to store data, storage, and easy access. And because machine learning and big data requires a place to store your data, you don't have to lose your data, cloud computing becomes an essential part of a data scientist. Next slide. Now, I identified 10 libraries for use in data science, and these ones are specifically for, I told you libraries are just script languages with instructions on how you're going to analyze data. For example, if you're interested in doing GIS, geographical mapping and locations, you'll probably have to use ggplot for ggplot as a library in R programming language. So I think I'll have to walk you through all these libraries so that you can just have a rough idea of what each one of them does. So if you've ever used Python, let me ask before I proceed. How many of you heard of Python? Type yes on the chat box. Yes. 4 of you. 6, 7. Okay. Almost everyone has heard of Python. Okay. Oops. That's good. How many of you have used Python for, oh, wow. Also type a yes if you have used Python for data analysis. No. One no. Another no. No. Christopher, yes. No, 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 no. Okay, Christopher. Okay. So Christopher, would you like us to, you've said yes you've used data, Python to analyze data. Would you please just in a minute tell us about the libraries you use?
Yes, so how are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, I've used Python data analysis, yeah, in some learning, but I've used Pandas, Numpy, SciPy, Matplotlib, yeah, and then Scrappy and Beautysoft. Yeah, I've tried them for just learned them in collecting data, web scraping. Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
And how many of you have you used R?
I tried learning, but I just basics.
Okay, thank you. For
Mm.
the rest of you, how many of you have heard of R? Indicator no or yes in the chat box. Yes, Esther. Yes, Ruth. No, Khadija. Alice, no. Okay, good. Kigame, you've used R before. The R is specifically for data analysis. It can't be used for programming, whereas Python, you can use it for other things besides data analysis. So Kigame, could you share your experience with the use of R? Okay, we also have Lina Mwakitawa. She has used R. What's your experience with the use of R, Lina? Esther, also you said yes, you've used R before. Your experience? Oh, okay, okay. Okay. So later on, as part of your research, you can check between what are the most popular programming languages for data scientists, and R and Python are the most popular. So you can choose whichever one you want to use depending on your data needs and which one do you understand best. Okay, let's carry on. So with the libraries, so Pandas is an open source Python package that provides high performance and easy to use data structures for data analysis tools. It's very popular with for Python data analysis. Like it's a very important Python data analysis tool. And when do you use Pandas? It's a perfect tool for wrangling and muggling data, and it's designed for quick and easy data manipulation. So if you would like to do quick data manipulation, reading and aggregation, and a bit of visualization, Pandas is the best thing to use. We have Numpy. It's also very important in Python. It's generally an array processing package. Also high performance, multi-dimensional arrays of objects. Hello?
Hello, Anthony.
Sorry?
I think someone just unmuted themselves, but I think now the noise is gone.
Okay. So you'll use Numpy when you want to process large arrays of data. And then if you want to store those values of the same data type, then Numpy is the best library to use. SciPy is also another very important package for Python. It contains modules for efficient mathematical routines as linear algebra, if you want to do interpolations, optimization, even integration and basic statistics. you can actually you'll have to install SciPy in your Python as a library to use. We have Matplotlib. Matplotlib is very powerful, especially when you want to do visualizations. You can create stories with data visualized with Matplotlib actually, and you can do two-dimensional figures with Matplotlib. So those histograms, pie charts, scatter plots and whatnot, area plots, bar charts, stem plots, and contour plots in geography, those ones can actually be achieved by using Matplotlib, which you have to install in within your IDE, your Python IDE. And then I'll probably touch on Tensorflow. I think Tensorflow was developed by Google, and it's an AI library that helps developers to create large-scale neural networks within layers, within many layers using data flow graphs. So TensorFlow was actually developed for deep learning models. And I see most developed website amongst all libraries use TensorFlow, like people like Google, Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Twitter, they use TensorFlow. Later on in your own free time, you can see what scikit-learn, PyTorch, Scrappy, and Beautiful Soup can do to can be utilized for. Next slide. Do we have a slide? It's still loading.
We have a question from Rose. She's asking, how can one know the library they have used?
So if you are probably, you want to do histograms, or you want to do line graphs or scatter plots, the library to install is Matplotlib. But that these days is a lot of online help. You'll simply go online, mostly on GitHub, and ask a question: what library can I use for ABCD? And then someone will be willing to assist.
Okay, thank you so much, Anthony, for responding to that. And I just this could be a general question. Yeah, and Rose says, cool, thanks. This could be a general question to the coders who have attended today's session, because at the end, like they need to build projects on different areas that they feel that this is where their passion lies. Do you think that it's possible for someone to do like a simple project on maybe security, democracy, and health using data science that can actually impact the community?
So as mentioned earlier, data scientists can have a major positive impact on communities. If you can collect so much data, then and you are able to make inferences or obtain information, general information from that data, then that will help you to design a solution. And these solutions could be around, could be economic, or could be of societal level, with society impact. So data science can come in handy when your solution involves, when your solution will involve analyzing data that you have collected over time to craft that solution. So you are designing a solution based on people's feedback. That is when data science comes in. And again, if you come up with a project, you will have users of that project And from time to time, you will have, you'll need to be collecting feedback on usage of that project, on frequency of use, and people from which locations are using this project, and also use that data to improve on your project from time to time. So data science becomes critical for that, for you to be able to analyze those trends and adapt your project accordingly.
But let's say, for example, if maybe I'm interested about maybe an environment, I will come up with a way I will collect maybe how people are being affected by the environment around them, maybe based on a response, and I can evaluate that data and present it as a project, right? Can that be like a way to present also a project in data science?
That can be correct, but for you to be able to identify an environmental problem, you will need to have information that supports that there is actually a problem, and that information you'll get it from data that you collect over time. And for you to know that your project is actually having some impact on the environment, you'll also have to collect data at the end of the day and at different points of data collection, be able to measure whether you are able to achieve what you intended to do with your project. So
Okay.
coming up with a data science and monitoring system will be very critical.
I think we lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
I'm saying you will still need to have a system of collecting data on the environment, and at different points of data collection, you'll be able to compare results across those different points and actually measure to see if you're on the right track, or even assess the impact of your program. And for you to be able to do that, you have to constantly collect data and track uh, parameters or variables that you're trying to achieve with your project.
Awesome. Then thank you so much for such a great response. So I hope some of the questions that have been asked can add value if you are thinking on developing a project on data science. And then also Anthony will be there to always support if you need any advice, he can be there to support you. And then Esther is saying when you talk of collecting data, are there restriction on ways and where to collect data, or one can collect data from anywhere using any means without any legal implications?
The first thing to understand when you're collecting data from households or even the general public, you have to give them a caveat, and you need to seek their consent as to why you are collecting the data. You have to tell them how long it will take to do the interviews, for example. You need to tell them what use of the data, how you will use the data, and if there are any legal implications, you need to cover them there before you set out for data collection. So the answer is yes. There are legal implications if you don't seek consent.
Wow, thank you so much. I hope, Esther, that really helps. And anyone who managed to join a bit late, the session has been recorded. And tomorrow, not actually tomorrow, on Saturday, we are going to have Anthony. Anthony will be able to share like a way that someone can use like even Excel to be able to work on data. Maybe Anthony, you can share more what you'll be sharing with the participants on Saturday.
So in our next session, because we could not cover everything and we won't exhaust everything even in a day, we would like to implement a basic data analysis. And for this case, we'd like to use Excel, basic Excel. Even those advanced data programming languages for data, R and Python, will constantly require you to communicate with Excel in the form of .csv files. So our starting point will be Excel. We will be able to do analysis with Excel, basic analysis, be able to clean our data with Excel, and then for those who want to pursue data analysis and maybe the broader field of data science can do it later. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
So that session on Saturday or tomorrow?
It's going to be on Saturday at 4.
4 p.m.
Yeah.
Let me just sum that.
Sorry?
Let me summarize a bit
Okay.
what we've been saying about data science. It's a very broad field, and it's an emerging field. And every day there are new tools, new libraries that are gaining popularity in the field of data science. So it's up to you to choose what to go with, because you can't have everything. It's not easy to find someone who is able to do machine learning, AI. Maybe AI can be left to someone who can do analysis together with someone who's good with coding. Also, you can find someone who can do data, big data. So you can't find these skills in one person. And if you ever find someone with all these three skill sets, then that is a unicorn. Those are very rare people to find. But this is one of the biggest and fastest growing careers from the year 2000s. So join me.
Okay. Okay, the session has really been very helpful, and also learning from an expert in data science. This is something that you do even during your presentation. You mentioned this is something that actually you do even as you work for Kenya. So we really appreciate you taking this time, and actually, I believe we've been able to learn one or two different tools, different libraries you can use. As we also learned this coding session, it's also an opportunity for you to learn and explore more. If you have any challenge and maybe you really want to do maybe Python and R, we even have Anthony. Apart from Anthony, even Christopher has a little bit of experience, so it's something that we can all support each other. And then I think, will you mind taking this last question, Anthony?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
From Adija, you've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. An environmental problem using data science. Now, you will be able to, how will you be able to identify that there's an environmental problem? How will you be able to know that people are overutilizing resources at the expense of the environment? How would you know that the amount of CO2 or the amount of CO2 is rising? For you to be able to do that, you will need data. You will need to have analyzed that data from people on the use of environmental resources or its degradation. When you have that information, you'll be able to craft or develop a project that tries to address or solve that environmental problem. Once you set up your project, for you to be able to know if it is achieving the intended results, you also need to collect data at different points of the project. You'll start by doing a baseline, and then you will have a midterm review. You will collect data at the midpoint, and at the end of your project, you will also collect data, and you will be able to compare the data that you collected at the baseline with the data that you collect at the end. The difference, the net difference, will tell you if your project has achieved some impact. And for you to be able to know if your project has actually, the success of the project can be attributed to your intervention, then you will also need to talk to people who have not used your project and compare their usage of, or their degradation of the environment with the people who have used your project. Compare that using data to know if actually your success can be attributed to your program. So there's a lot of data points, there's a lot of data to be collected, and there's a lot of analysis for you to know if you're on the right path.
I hope that answers your question, Hadija. And if you have a project that you feel maybe you can address it using data science, you're not very sure about it, when we finish our trainings, we'll be able to create maybe different focused WhatsApp group that we will be able to continue supporting depending on which project you are. And we are very hopeful that Anthony and some of the people working in data science will create their time to be able to come in, just even give you ideas or redefine whatever you have, if it so that it can fit well in data science. So we really appreciate taking your time to be able to share your skills with us, Anthony, and we look forward to having you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. I
See
think okay.
Maybe none of them requires me to respond, but if you can add me to your WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
I'll go to take some of those really interesting.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely do that. Currently, we have a general one. Once we finish our training in 1 or 2 weeks, we'll be able to create focus group for different areas, and we'll be happy to add you on the data science so that you can support the aspiring coders who want to build projects on data science.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. I would like to end the meeting regarding the forms for the people who want to join the physical session coming next week from 11th to 13th. I will share it today on the WhatsApp group. Kindly fill, because on the first day we'll only accommodate 15, and this will be based on first come, first serve. But on the second day, that is 12th and 13th, we can have more than that. Yeah, so thank you so much, and do have a great evening. All right. Bye, Bijuma.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.